Hi everyone, and welcome to our lesson. And in this lesson we will be discussing CSS. We'll continue where we left off. What we created in the last video, we linked our style sheet, the styles CSS style.css. We got our folder right here, we got our style sheet right here. So if we click on our style sheet, and this is where our style sheet is, it's empty at the moment. But before we get into it, I just want to, because we did in the previous videos discuss the inline style sheet, but now we're going to discuss the external style sheet and what CSS is. Now, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. So what does that mean? It means that it styles your HTML document. All right. Otherwise, what we're going to do, let's say you have a big website on your page right here. Let's say this in here, it's a big website, like maybe 200 lines or 400 lines of code. Now, if we have to add the styling of that included in there, it's quite messy. Things get very, very messy, so that you don't know where certain styles are or where to find certain things. It kind of destroys the structure of your document as well. But what you can do with external style sheet is you can keep all your styling on this page right here. Enough of me mumbling. Let's quickly get into it right here. So how do we do styling? Let's quickly add in our body tag. Let's just add an H1. H1. And then we're just going to say this. Let's say this is all right, so we got it right there, and so we got our H1 heading. Let's save it and let's go to our styles. Now this is called a selector. So the H1, the reason why it's called the selector, it's selecting your tag, or if you had a class or something, but we will get to that now. It will select your H1. So it means the H1 tag in your HTML document is getting selected, right? And as you can see, we got our curly brackets right there. This is called your declaration. Now, in your declaration, you can have, let's say we want to change the color. The font color we want to change to white is $F, black is 0, 0. So actually 6 zeros, but you can use shorthand. You can only do 3 of them. The same with the white. You can do 6 white, Fs, triple Fs, but you can only use triple as an example. But for us, we're not going to use white. Let's just click or hover over it, and we can just choose color. We can just go with the kind of green color right there. So this is your selector. You have your curly brackets, and then you have your declaration. And now in your declaration, you can have multiple properties. So for us, we have our background color. We can change the background color to gray, and we can change the font size as well. I'm just using just examples quickly, and I will explain all of them a little bit later. So font size, we're going to go to, let's say 18 pixels. All right. So let's go to our index. Now we'll right click here and we're going to say open with live server. You guys know how this works now. As you can see, we have our H1 heading. We got our gray background, and then we have our green font. But now here's the question. you're going to use this a lot. So if you press F12 on your keyboard, I'm using Firefox at the moment. So if you press F12, now this part right here is called your inspector window. So as you can see, if I hover over it, this is my body. And as you can see, right there, it's highlighting our H1 right there. Now, as you can, if you come on this side right here, kind of guys, just want to show you, I think the font is too small. Let me just increase the font size, I think. This, just to make it a little bit bigger for you guys to see. All right. So what we have right here is we got our inspector, because you're going to use this quite a lot. And I think this is, you need to get kind of familiar with these tools. All right, so what we have is we got our inspector. So if I press on the body, as you can see, it disappears right here. It highlights the HTML style sheet right here. As you can see, the color that we've put in, you can see it right there. Then the background color, you can see that. Even in here, we can change it. Let's say we change it to a darker gray. Let's put 333, just to kind of make it darker. But the thing is, it doesn't save it, which is good. But what you can do is you can kind of create a preview for yourself in this little window. Now, this window is called Development Tools. Chrome has its own development tools. Firefox has its own development tools. Now, for instance, what you can do as well, so let's say we got our preview right there, and also you got on your right hand side, far right, you got your layout. If you see, we got our box model right here. So now by default, the window, they give you 12 pixels padding on top, 12 pixels padding at the bottom, as you can see right there. So this box right here, the margin is marked in yellow. As you can see, if I hover over it, it highlights it at the window right there. This is your padding. As you can see, there's no padding on top, no padding on your right, no padding on your left, no padding right there. But let's say we want to see what padding looks like. So let's add 5 there. As you can see, it moves a little bit down. 5 there. You can see. Then we add 5 pixels there, and then we add another 5 pixels there. So as you can see, if we hover over the purple, over this part right here, you can see it highlights them in your window right there. Okay. So this is kind of useful, very useful actually. So as you can see, we edit our element, gets displayed the 5 pixels, top, bottom, left, and right. Right. So then we got that as well, but nothing will be saved as soon as I refresh this window. This is just so that you can preview and make your changes. Then you can go computer part to actually say what has been done right there. You get them on RGB, the changes. So this is what I've changed. So you can see I changed the background color to that, and I added this. So it's kind of useful to know what you have changed, so that if you do change them in your CSS, you will know what to change to make them like that. Then the fonts. Now this, for me personally, is very handy. Sometimes when you get there and you want to know like what size the font you must be, then you can just change the font right here. So you can pull it and say, okay, that's too big for me. I need it maybe like that. So what is useful now is you can change to EM units. We will get to this a bit later to explain what EM is. Or you can change them to rem units. Or you can change them to pixels, percentage, view height, and view width. But we're going to explain this. So VH stands for view height, VW stands for view width. But for us, we're going to keep it at pixels right now. Line height, you can change them, but we're going to leave them at normal. Then we've got our weight. You've got your font weight as well, and you can change it as well. So for us, this is now 200, but there is no, the font styling doesn't have a full 200, but it's got 600 or 700, 500. Anyway, you can change it to italic to see what it looks like. And yes, so this is very, very handy for your development process. So you need to kind of get comfortable with this. The console you will use when you start coding JavaScript. So right here, if you want to code JavaScript, this will be very useful for testing. Debugger, obviously, if you want to check your style sheets, etc., etc. But for us right now, we're just going to focus on the inspector. Now here, what you can do is you can click here on that tool right there, and you can hover over your document to see which one you actually want to check. So you can hover your mouse. Let's say we want to click on the H1. So obviously it's clicked right now, and then you can see it right there. All right. So let me refresh it quickly, and you will see everything goes back to what it was. Let's refresh it. You see, it goes back to what it was. So it doesn't save anything. Very useful for debugging, or if you want to check to, if you specifically want to design something somewhere else, another way. But as you can see, everything comes with a default margin. The margin shows up in yellow, padding shows up in purple. So as you can see, if you hover your mouse over it, it's got a default margin on the bottom and top. Now, normally, when you design, you don't want that to happen, because it kind of, if you want more control over how you want to design your elements, I'll show you a selector right now. But this is just the intro for the video. So in the next videos, we will kind of go through the selectors and things like that. All right. Otherwise, the video gets too long. So in the next video, we will be discussing the selectors and about my nose there. The selectors and their declarations, and how we can use them in our style sheet, and we can just start from the basics and build ourselves up to the more complicated styles and things like that. Okay, so let's stop right here. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you don't like the video, give it a dislike. I don't mind. And just give us some constructive feedback, like why you liked the video and why you didn't like the video, so that I can improve on my videos, so that you at the end of the day can benefit from it. Right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode.